Hey everybody. Hey, listen, autumn is here. Can you tell? It's cold, it's crisp, it's a Sunday morning. I'm loving this. Autumn is my favorite time of year. I call it autumn instead of fall because I think autumn has a more meaning to it, right? Autumn feels like a special time. Fall for me is like, it's fall. But autumn means like pumpkin patches and harvest festivals and the trees changing their color. And that's why I'm actually outside, because this is right outside my studio. And I was looking a couple days ago, and the tree behind me that's all vibrant red right now was not vibrant red. It was still green. And literally overnight, that tree, the next day when I came in midday, it was already red. And I couldn't believe it. This is how fast change can happen in our lives. And the challenge for most of us is we get so caught up with identifying things in our lives as who we are, our identities. And then when they change, we are overcome many times with this sense of loss. So for instance, if we identify ourselves in a relationship and then the relationship ends, we have all this pain and suffering. And the reason we're having that is because we have created a self-identity out of saying, this is who I believe myself to be in this relationship. Or if something happens with our body and there might be some illness or dis-ease or whatever it is, or just being tired and fatigued or hormonal issues, we start saying, what's wrong with me? The person I am, we're sick, we're dealing with this. And we experience pain and suffering, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, which causes even more pain and suffering. So the whole idea here is, folks, is that you are not the expressions, you are what's witnessing. You are the unconditioned witness of what is happening. So even your thoughts are conditions. You can't experience a thought unless you're aware of the thought. I want you to think about that for a minute. I know that's big and that's deep and woo-woo, but it's true. You're only experiencing what you're aware of. And so when a thought comes up, if it's a very minor thought, you don't really give it, as we say, a second thought. You give it no attention or energy. And it'll come up and go right away, and you're like, no big deal. But other things come up and you give attachment and meaning to them. And it's that meaning that you're giving to them which is creating part of that identity. It's giving meaning to your identity of who you think you are. That's quotation marks. I can't do it with the other one because I'm holding the camera. But it's not true. You are that which gives life to everything. You are not the expression, but what gives life to the expression. You witness the expressions. So let's go back to our tree here, which is stunning, right? For us, we're saying, wow, look at the color. But look at right next to it. There's another tree, smaller, that's barely turned at all. And it's right next to it. Why not? So do you think that the tree that's turning red is saying, oh my gosh, why am I not green anymore? I'm dying. My leaves are turning color and pretty soon they'll fall off and then I'll be a bare tree and I won't feel alive anymore. No, of course it doesn't. But we as humans would do that. If we lost a limb, literally, we would say, oh, I'm not whole and complete. I don't have a limb. This is what goes on with the ego and the self-image. I'm not the same. Something's changed in me or of me. But it's not true. You're still complete because you're not the body. The body is just an expression. You're not your thoughts. Thoughts are just expressions and occurrences, experiences. But you are not the experience, right? So the tree itself, whether it's green, whether it's its vibrant colors, or whether it's during the winter, at least during up here, and it loses all of its leaves, the tree itself is still the tree. The expression may change, but the tree doesn't have an identity of saying, oh, when I'm a tree, I'm a green tree. And, oh God, I hate it when I lose my leaves. It doesn't go into a depressive state based on its conditions, right? It doesn't have a self-image that it holds itself to. It's a tree. And all it's ever doing is, in a sense, expressing its treeness. But that's all. It doesn't see itself as a tree with leaves, or a tree with green leaves, or a tree with orange leaves, or red leaves, or brown leaves, or they fall off and they're bare, or a tree with buds. Or, God forbid, let's say lightning comes down and strikes it and puts a big crack down the tree. The tree just goes on being a tree. It does itself to heal as best as it can, then it just continues expressing itself as a tree. But it doesn't identify itself. That true nature of the tree is the same true nature in all of us. There is only one true nature, or we could say there's only one God, no matter what you call it. The isness, the what is, source energy, the absolute, unconditioned consciousness, unconditioned awareness of being. It doesn't matter. The true nature is existence itself, life itself, unconditioned awareness. That is what you are. That never changes, because that's the eternal of who you are. So every day this week, I'm going to find different expressions of life itself, just like this tree and that expression, and we'll talk about life itself versus the expression. That you are the witness of the changes, but that witness that you are never changes. And that isn't the person. It's not your identity that you're holding on to. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. And on Wednesday, we'll do Facebook Live, 9 a.m., and I'll find some expression of unconditional joy. Maybe being able to combine the two. How's that? So if you have any suggestions between now and Wednesday, or now and 2 more days from now, please, if you have an idea of something that is unconditionally joyful that you do, and you want to have me come do it with you, or just I can do it, I would love to have that idea, okay? So no matter where you are in the world, send me those ideas. I would love to have them, all right? So until then, this is Dave. And remember, I love your guts. Take good care.